Welcome to my channel, where I'm just a dad doing dad stuff. It is Halloween 2023, and I'm getting down to the nitty and the gritty of getting this haunted house wired up and electrified. And this is the FlexMax 2 show controller from Fright Props. This is FrightIdeas.com. I think they're branching out. This is actually for escape rooms. But basically what it is it's got 8 inputs here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's for sensors or buttons. You press that, and then a program that's inserted through the SD card slot right here will say, okay, this one or that one is activated, and then it will activate 1 through 12 outputs, and then 4 additional dimmable ones, and also 2 right speakers and 2 left speakers. I'm not sure how I'm going to set that up. Probably have different audios going through each one. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully all the audio is going to come out of this, because I have a 32 gig card that's going to go in there. It should hold the program and all the MP3s and everything else. And this should, in theory, be able to get an input from a sensor and then output a signal that will go to an input on one of these guys. It's not in the instructions, but I actually contacted Fright Props, and they said that there is a way to wire it where that will trigger the input on this guy, and so this will have an output. And then this only holds 2 minutes of show, which is fine, because most of the props you don't want going more than 30 seconds. Is really a long time if you think about it. You know, especially you know, people are walking through a haunted house. You walk by pretty fast. You don't even realize. Really 10 seconds is as long as you need. It also holds ambient sound that will just play on a loop, and it will reset itself, which is nice. And these ones work much the same way as the other one, where you have to wire it yourself. But I also have this guy. This guy is the exact same thing as this, that takes the input from a sensor, or in this case it'll come from the FlexMax, and then it will turn on and off these outlets in the same way that it will turn on and off these 2 inputs. Same thing, it has 2 minutes of playback, 2 minutes of trigger audio, and a audio that will run on a loop that you can program yourself. But again, you really, if you're going longer than 30 seconds, the prop's not going to end up being too scary. And then this year I've supplemented these guys here with these things. This is always on, right? And then it will flip. Well, these will turn off and these will turn on through this input here that will work from one of these guys or this guy, right? So now I've added, you know, and I got 2 of them, so I've added a whole bunch of different outlets here that will turn on and off. Now these are dumb. They have no computers in them. They will just turn on and off. So whatever you have connected to that needs to be, like, you know, ready to go, like a light or something. Or like, you know what I used to do is I used to have an MP3 player plugged into a amplifier and to a speaker that was plugged in, and then the speaker would turn on and off. But it's getting harder and harder to find MP3 players. It's getting harder and harder to find plug-in speakers. Everything is Bluetooth wireless now, and the ones that you can find that are still plug-in are really cheap, and the sound is garbage. Which is why I'm moving just to straight speakers, and I have 3 of them here. These are from, a lot of these I bought in a kit with these guys here. I only have 3. I think I probably will need a 4th one. I'll see how that goes. Yeah, and then the whole haunted house should work off of these 3 speakers, right? If I place this in the middle of the house and angle them right, then all the audio will be coming. You'll be able to hear the audio loudly and clearly from each room, because it'll be coming from the middle of the room, basically. Equidistant from wherever you are. And then I have my plugs here. These are 12 volt 5 amp. I do have a 12 volt 40 amp for one particular motor, but I hesitate to plug it into one of these guys. I think the amps should be fine running through this, but I don't want to take the chance because these are, you know, over $100 a piece. I think they're like 150 bucks. I forget. I'm not quite sure because I bought them in the packages with all this other stuff. They all kind of came together. So I have a couple of these, and then I have these guys. These are sensors. These are motion sensors, and I have to plug in. I have 3 of them here. I'm gonna have to plug them in individually to see. And then I got a potato right there. I have to plug these in individually to make sure they still work because some of these have been outside. Some of them have been crushed over the years. You know, because it's not Halloween all year, so they get stacked someplace and something goes on top of it. So I'm gonna just double check to make sure they all work. And this year I got a pressure mat. Now I'm not sure how this is gonna work. You know what I might do is I might take a long piece of plywood and have it on an imperceptible angle, like a really shallow angle, just so there's a little bit of space for this. But when you step on it, it crushes down, and so no matter where you step on the plywood, it will hit this thing because it's quite small. I mean, you know, you're not going to get a pressure mat that's going to cover a whole room. But yeah, we're going to see how that works. And yeah, I'm going to wire all this up. And somehow, and I'm going to have to test every single one of these pieces somehow.